What's up YouTube, it's Azure Upchain coming at you with an interesting video on Pop Duality. I've heard a lot of stuff just through players about how much Pop Duality boosts consistency. I've heard a lot of players sort of compare Pop Duality to Upstart Goblin and other sort of consistency boosting cards, and I'm just making this video to sort of clear up what Pop Duality actually does, and to sort of clear up some of the fallacy about Pop Duality being sort of like an empty card in the deck, which is really not, and I'll sort of explain as I go through. So just before I get into my cases, like case A, when x is equal to 1, I'll kind of need to tell you what x is first before I get into that. But before that, there are some things which are not going to change throughout any of my cases. The first thing is that I'm using a standard 40 card deck for each and every case, and there are no blanks like Upstart Goblins and Reckless Greeds or anything like that inside the deck. The variables are the things which do change, and the x value does change, and x is equal to the number of targets plus the number of searchers. So for example, if your targets are something like Elemental Hero, Neos Alias, and you're playing 3 of them, that would be your 3 targets there. And then your searchers would be the 1 rotor and the 3 equals, so that would be 4 searchers, so your value for x would be 7. For other thing which does change is Pop Duality, but I mostly highlight it, for example 1 Pop Duality and 2. And there's another thing which I want to point out quickly just before I really get into depth. These values here, when I say 1 Pop Duality, this isn't how much it boosts it by, that's this value here, this plus 1.13% is how much it boosts for odds by. This value is the new odds, so that's the previous plus the boost is this value here, and this is the difference. So I just thought I should mention that before. So getting into the first case, case A, when x is equal to 1, so a good example of case A would be Gold Sarcophagus, since it's at 1 due to the new ban list. The normal odds of opening with a Gold Sarcophagus is about 15% or 0.15. If you add the Pop Duality, that goes up to about 16%, so that's about plus 1.13% in terms of your chances of opening up with this one Gold Sarcophagus. Sorry about my throat, I'm a bit sick, but yeah, I'll try to go through this kind of quickly. So if you play 2 Pop Duality, your odds of opening up with a Gold Sarcophagus increase to about 17%, so that's about a plus 2.11% increase, and 3 Pop Duality is about 18%. I really don't think I need to go through all of these in detail. What I'll probably do is that I'll upload this to a site, and then I'll put a link in the description for you guys to download and check out yourselves. But I'll quickly just scroll through these. So for example, case B, my second case, when x equal to 2, Royal Tribute would be an example of that. I think Royal Tribute is at 2, it might have been hit, I'm not really too sure, but I believe it's at 2. So that would be an example of x equal to 2. X is equal to 3, you could guess, Black Whirlwind, you know. I'll just explain this one, x equal to 4. So for this example, I've got Dark Wrath, it could be Armageddon Knight or something, and let's just assume you're playing 3 copies of Dark Wrath plus for 1 copy of Rotor. This is what I sort of mentioned before about the value of x. It's the number of targets plus the number of searchers that search it out. And it's pretty much the same thing here, the normal odds of opening up with 1 and how much Pop Duality increases, and the new values here. And it's pretty much the same. For example, Elemental Hero Neos Alias was the example I mentioned before, and these are how much Pop Duality adds. And I'll also include my working. So I'll just go through one of these actually. So for 1 Pop Duality and case A when x equal to 1, I worked out what the odds of drawing x are, which was 0.15, the odds of not drawing x, which was 0.85, the odds of drawing Pop Duality, which is 0.15, the odds of not drawing x and drawing Pop Duality, which is very important because if you draw x and you draw Pop Duality, you're not increasing consistency because you drew x anyway. So it's very important to account for the time when you draw Pop Duality and you don't draw x, and that happens 0.1275 portions of the time. Pop of Duality into x, this is your chance of getting x by using Pop Duality, and that's this value here, and then the total is not drawing x, drawing Pop Duality, and then getting x from Pop Duality, and that's this value here, and then you add this value onto your probability of drawing X, and you get the new value of drawing X when you account for point duality. So I'll include this in the description box for you guys to check out, and I hope this has cleared up a few things. Now you can say exactly how much point duality increases your consistency by, and this is your option signing out. Sorry about my throat, but have a nice day, and like and subscribe if you haven't as well. See you later. Sorry about this, guys. There's also something else that I wanted to mention. I made a graph on point duality and first term percentages, and what you're seeing here is how your odds are when you don't play point duality. So that's the part in blue. Actually, I should probably explain the axes first. The x-axis is the targets plus searchers, which I just mentioned before, and the y-axis is first term percentage. So it's how often, in terms of percentage, you're going to open up with a target or a searcher. And what you're seeing here in terms of these colors and these bars are basically how point duality affects and adds onto your first term percentage of drawing your targets or searchers. So when you don't play any point dualities, you get this blue value here, and that's your odds without playing a point duality of drawing into a target or searcher. And then when you do play one point duality, you add on this red value here onto the blue value. So it's not actually the red value by itself, it's plus the blue value. That gives you your new value for working out, for basically playing one point duality. And it's the same sort of thing. When you play 2, you include the green value, and when you play 3, you include the purple value. So this should sort of accurately describe how point duality boosts consistency depending on the targets and searches which you play. As you're probably noticing, well, I'm not sure if you could tell, but the values which I actually gave you before actually depended on the targets and searches. Point duality actually tends to boost consistency most when you play 4 to 5 searches, and this is because when you play 1, 2, or 3, you're generally not playing enough for point duality to consistently be able to reveal these cards, these targets and searches. And when you're playing 6 or 7, you're normally going to draw into these quite a fair amount of the time. So point duality doesn't really boost consistency. It doesn't really boost consistency that much because you're quite likely to draw into them anyway. So normally it's around the 4 to 5 region that you actually get the most amount of benefits from point duality. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really signing out this time, and have a nice day. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I'm interested to sort of read what you guys think of this. So yeah, have a nice day.